today's session is not for the faint-hearted, but I will give you a couple of tips if you intend to go with this practice. It has got a little bit of challenge, and it's a mindful self-compassion practice which is on equanimity. But equanimity, what does that mean? It's a posh word meaning composure in difficult situations. And what it can do is it can transform the way that we react to challenge and difficulty, because at the end of the day, let's be absolutely honest, you just cannot get away from the fact that life is about challenge. And in Western society, I suppose we're not prepared for it more than say somewhere else. Say if you was living in Africa, your life is a constant challenge. That's why we need to practice gratitude more, because it really helps us to realise what we've got. But anyway, composure in difficult situations. If you're going to find any of my practices, including yoga and mindfulness, difficult, always remember the acronym SCOPE. What does SCOPE mean? So, the S means slow down, connect with the ground, your feet, your hands, whatever is holding and supporting you. 1. 2, connect. C, cross your arms, tuck your hands on your armpits, or do any other kind of form of soothing touch which releases the feel-good hormones. 3, orientate. If you're meditating, open your eyes and have a visual vacation by taking in the full field of the room that you're in, and rest your eyes on a nice pleasant object. There's a nice plant behind me, that's what I'd do. P, pendulate. Shift between a sensation of ease and in the body and an area of tension in the body. And lastly, E, engage. Always connect with someone to support you. So after the practice, talk to someone, connect, phone a friend. Now, we're going to go straight into the practice, because I don't really... Yeah, to be honest, I've seen the poem If by Rudyard Kipling everywhere, which can be not something that I enjoy really, because I don't really like Rudyard Kipling. I've been watching the wonderful programme by Ian Hislop called The Stiff Upper Lip, and he talks about the history of the stiff upper lip coming from the public schools mentality in the British Empire. And If really is a kind of ideologically built around that idea of the white man's burden and the idea of the British Empire. But I always have been a kind of political person anyway, looking at things from a sociological and power-based situation. But if you can keep your head when all around are losing theirs and blaming it on you. And I was watching Bjorg and McEnroe last night on television, and it had it was Shia LaBeouf. I don't know how to say his name. I always think he's probably made it up because he's absolutely bonkers, isn't he? And he plays McEnroe. You can't be serious. And then this lovely Swedish, very handsome looking Swedish guy plays Bjorn Borg, the Iceman. And they're both the iconic kind of shot of them before they go into the game where Bjorg wins Wimbledon and thrashes him. There's a quote from Rudyard Kipling's If just above their head. And that idea of, because that was the whole point, wasn't it? Because like the Iceman, the calm guy, who always played with the petulant little one, the American who always kept blowing his top. So in a way, I'm not trying to say that this practice is kind of you being like, Rudyard Kipling's If and your stiff upper lip, because that's what not was about. They are the British Empire and muscular Christianity in the public schools. It was about suppressing your emotions. Stiff upper lip. Because it nearly made me cry when he was reading out this letter from this small boy who was in this. He was at school and he kept asking his mummy to come and pick him up because all the children around him were all, dropping like flies from scarlet fever. It's like, mummy, half of the class have gone, and when are you coming to collect me? And basically, mother never did. But there you go. It was, how can I say? Character forming. And there you go. But, so let's get seated. Ring my bell, paddle the bell. And I'll bring you in and ring you out. So if you ever feel any difficulty, connect with the ground in your feet. Connect with your breath. Connect with soothing touch. Open your eyes, look around. Pendulate, shift between ease and tension. And afterwards, talk about it with somebody. Talk about the experience. It's good to reflect. Okay, let's go. Seated. So, strong, stable, like a mountain, but relaxed. No tension in the shoulders. So you're lifting out of your hips and you've got a good postural alignment. Imagine your vertebrae like a stack of golden coins. And we'll start with just doing a few cleansing breaths to centre ourselves, and with each exhale just drop down into the sensation of your hips and your feet touching the floor. And I'll just ring you in. And then we'll begin this practice by noticing all physical sensations. Just bringing the spotlight of attention. And if it feels right for you, just focus on the areas that feel relaxed and at ease. And just notice your mind and your quality of your thoughts with curious attention. We're not trying to fix or change anything, we're just noticing, we're not looking for reasons why. And if that feels right for you, and if you want to do this, bring your hands onto your belly. And just notice the expansion and the contraction with each breath. Notice the rise and fall as you feel your belly press against your hands. Not to trying to make your breath forced or big, just nice, gentle, natural expansion and release. And just simply focus on the breath and the movement of the belly. And we'll do this just for a few moments until we become nice and calm, collected, relaxed in our minds and bodies and centered. And if your mind wanders, just gently coax your mind back to the focus of the breath. Now shift your attention to the contemplation and meditate on the benefits of what equanimity can mean for you. Being calm during difficulties. What benefits would it allow you to have? For example, allowing you to be present and open-hearted despite the conditions that you're in. And as equanimity is about letting go, non-attachment, see if you can bring to mind challenges or changes on a scale of 3 out of 10, 1 being positive and 10 being negative. so that it's not too triggering, that you've faced recently within the past year. This is not a deep dive. This is just putting the toe into the water. And with practice, you can move forward into more challenge. But just for the first session, when you bring to mind the challenges or the changes, can you picture and visualise what was happening with whom and where? Taking in the visual scene. It may be a few rather than a challenge. And now meditate, contemplate the fact that the nature of life is constant change, and that we have little control over what happens. And if that's the case, contemplate the challenges that you've considered and see if you can mentally release them into the universe. For example, Boethius said that life is a wheel. At good times and both bad times, they pass away, they don't last very long in this circular turning of the wheel, like the one that's used on tarot cards. You cast down into the depths, but you're thrown back up into ecstasy. Good times pass away, but so do the bad. See if you can mentally visualise them throwing them into the universe, sending them away. And now bring to mind objects, people, situations that make you happy, that you're attached to. Visualise them. And then imagining that you're loving all in life unconditionally, all different people, whether they bring you happiness or not. Colleagues, friends, family members. See if you can feel your heart opening up to unconditional love. No conditionality to them. And then all these objects, peoples and situations make you happy. Just throw them out into the universe, release them, let them go. non-attachment. And now consider how you interact with strangers. Your indifference to them, people that pass you by when you're in the shops, when you're in public transport, whenever you're going about your daily business. And visualise a stranger on public transport. Try to consider how they try to find happiness and avoid suffering in life. Just like you, they have so much in common, they want the same things. Can you too feel their pain and rejoice for their happiness too? Everybody at the end of the day wants to be happy. Now ground yourself, centre yourself, and come back to meditating on your breath for a few minutes, on the in and out. On the rise and fall, on the expansion and the contraction. Don't worry if your mind wanders, just simply come back to the centering nature of the breath. And now see if you can let go of all focus. Focus on the breath, all attachment, all indifference. Come back to the feeling of your body. Notice the quality of your bodily sensations. Notice and check in with your emotional weather. Observe your mind and the quality of your thoughts. What are you aware of as you complete this practice? Okay, so yeah, really the focus on non-attachment. And letting go, which is what mindfulness is, isn't it? Non-attachment to expecting to want things to be perfectly as they are. You can go back to the silver linings practice to bookend that if you want, because also you're learning from challenge and from difficulty, discovering your own resourcefulness, but also attachment means that when we can't let go, that's what causes the suffering, and also the resisting side of things, which is the persisting, which causes more suffering. So it is about letting go of the fact that we want things exactly as we would like them to be. The more that we fight to keep things, the more the struggle is, the more that we suffer. So there you go. There's our 20 minutes up. No.